Hello, and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Masiak. Have you ever felt like you just had no idea who or where, what to do next? Like who you were or what to do next or any of that stuff. Like you just felt so lost and unsure of what to do or even who you were anymore. I know I have. I know I've had it so many times in my life, and a big one was after a breakup where, you immerse yourself in somebody else's world and you kind of make them your life and you just kind of can lose sight of yourself. This can happen even in friendships or careers, just different things, school, where you make it your main focus for so long. And then once it's over, you emerge from this amazing or not so amazing thing and you're like, whoa, where am I and what do I need to do next? Or what should I do next? Who am I? And all this stuff. I know for a big part for me was I was so busy filling all my space in my life, all the moments, so I didn't have to face who I was or who I wanted to be. Or maybe because really, when I'm being honest with myself here and with you, it was because I didn't want to own where I was. I wasn't super excited to be where I was. I went to college and it never really panned out. So I busied myself with, anything and everything, friends and partying and alcohol and food and just, you fill those voids and that space and time so you don't have to deal with yourself sometimes or with a situation or a feeling. And when you feel lost after something ends, either a career, a friendship, any of those things that just something ends. And the thing is, in life, there's a lot of endings, but it doesn't mean that life is over. It just means a chapter is ended and a new one is beginning. And it's those in between the chapters that you really get to just pause and get to think about what's next, because you are the writer of your story, your life. So no one's writing that next chapter for you. You are. So in between those chapters is where the magic really lies. It's where you get to pause and reflect and change course if you need to. Maybe you aren't loving where you're at, and that's okay. It's about being honest with yourself about it. Not beating yourself up, but being honest. Just, I don't like where I'm at. Okay. If you need to, have a pity party, but don't stay there too long. And just really take those feelings and help them move you forward towards your next chapter. Because just because that last one ended doesn't mean the next one isn't going to be more awesome. So for me, I actually took a whole year in between my chapters. I took that time I took about a month or so to feel sorry for myself. And I had a really low point. And I decided enough is enough. Jody, pick yourself up off the floor and, let's move forward. So I took a year to just self-discover myself. I was okay with missing out on events. I always said yes to everything because I felt there's a couple of reasons. I felt like I was going to miss out on something. I also thought, I don't want to hurt people's feelings. And also it was to fill that void of time. It's also filling your time with TV and food and alcohol. Like there's just so many things we can fill that void with. And a lot of the time it was just me going. I was going so much, actually. I just didn't have that time to really get to know myself or to even understand what was going on underneath the surface. And I really think that's why certain things like meditation, yoga, journaling are so powerful, because they're things that tend to slow us down so we can pause and reflect and hear that voice from within to say, listen to me, I'm here, or whatever it may be. So it is really important to slow down. especially when you feel lost and uncertain. So if you're feeling lost or unsure of what to do next, my biggest advice to you would be pause. Just hit that pause button. It doesn't have to be for a week, a month, a year. It could be for a couple minutes. Hit that pause button and just sit there. Look at the clouds in the sky or the stars at night, whatever it may be. Just look and just be present with yourself. And if you don't like what you see, that's okay. I feel like we've all been there a time here and there. And just feel it out, like why? And little by little, you can pick, kind of pick yourself back up, or really find like the new beginning of your new chapter. And it really is just getting clear with yourself. A good thing to do for personally, I think anyways, is journaling. And it's just letting your thoughts come out on paper and just letting it all out. And or talking to a good friend. And when I say good friend, like I want somebody that's like gonna back you up and cheer you on in your corner. You don't need somebody that's gonna criticize you for feeling the way you feel. And start being honest with yourself. Why do you feel lost? What caused you to get so lost? Was it a relationship? Or were you just like going so much that you kind of left yourself behind? Because that happens too. I know for me, a lot of my stuff in my life has been, I would put on different masks to become a people pleaser, or I was a people pleaser, pleasing other people. And when I realized what I was doing, because I was so exhausted from pretending or people pleasing, then that's where I got to really change it. But it's in the quiet. It's in the between spaces that we get to really figure out what it is that we want or need or who we really are. What makes you happy? It took me a long time to follow my heart on a level that was so big for me. Picking up the family and moving across the country. And it feels like we've lived here for years. Like it just feels like at home. But it took me so many years to get out of my own way. So feeling lost can be totally okay. In fact, I think sometimes it's what really helps us move in the direction we really want to go. So if you're feeling lost, think of it as like, oh, you're not really lost. You're just discovering or becoming what is meant to be. And if you're feeling lost as a person, like you're not quite sure who you are anymore or what it is you even want, I really encourage meditating on it, or just, if that's too far out of your comfort zone yet, just sit and just be with yourself. Take yourself out on a date. I know I've mentioned this so many times before because it's so important to feel comfortable by yourself. And you don't even have to go out to a restaurant. You can just, have food in, and whatever makes you feel good though. Like have a bubble bath if that makes you feel good. If not, get in your favorite PJs and enjoy a cup of tea, whatever it may be. And don't fill that void though with extra things while you're trying to rediscover who you are. So turning on the TV, it's fine and good, and there's a time and place for all those things, the TV and movies. However, when you're trying to listen from within and get to know yourself, that you need to turn that off, because you can't hear your own voice when you're listening to somebody else's. And I've talked about this a lot of times. Well, actually not a lot of times, but I've definitely shared this recently since I've moved, about following your own path and things like that. Like I said, I wore many masks and put on so many different personas to fit in and be a people pleaser. And that's really a way to get lost and not know who you are. When you put on so many different masks, you don't know which one's real anymore or which one's not a mask. And it can happen with relationships too. When you're in a relationship, either like a romantic relationship or a friendship, or even a family member, you can have it where you kind of go with the flow of what they want so often that you forget who you are. So it's really important to get clear on what your wants and needs are, what your voice is. It doesn't mean you can't, compromise with other people in your life, but it's being clear on who you are and what makes you happy, and finding that fine line, and really making sure that you take care of you as well. And like I said, just getting lost in other people's beliefs and thoughts and even their fears. You can take on other people's fears. And so it's just getting really clear on what it is that makes you, because you are uniquely you. And that's totally awesome. It's just about embracing those things. So it's getting clear on like what you love. What do you love about yourself? And what makes your heart smile? And it's just getting really clear on that. So if you're ever feeling lost, take a moment, sit down. I personally love getting out into nature when I feel lost and uncertain of things. I've had the best, most amazing thoughts and ideas come to me while walking in nature. I'm a firm believer in doing walking meditations because I don't know, it's just that your body's moving, and at the same time you're not doing anything but like just opening up space to allow ideas in, or thoughts and just different things just really, come up and above, like out of underneath the surface. So it's really incredible when you slow down, or if you speed up when you walk and meditate. I think that's why yoga is also really beautiful. Yoga is beautiful for so many reasons, but one of it's you're moving your body while still allowing your mind to open and be receptive to things that are underneath the surface, or thoughts that, are important to come up with. It's important, though, to remember to do what feels good to you. And I say this with so much love because I, too, am on my own self-love journey. And I know at one point I was like, self-care is super important, and it still is. However, it's like, oh, this, it's important to do this, or it's important to do this, and it's important to do that. And, I do it. And the cool thing is, like, I know my inner voice and I can listen. I'm like, something doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. It felt forced. It's important to find your own groove on your self-love journey. And that's why I'm, saying meditative walking feels so good to me, because I'm moving and, staying open. But that might not feel good to you. Or maybe you don't have a really cool place to walk or things like that. So it's about finding what works for you. The most important thing is, though, that is you are in a quiet or somewhat quiet, so you can at least hear your own thoughts and feelings and allow the space to open. That's really the big important thing. It can be anything: yoga, running, kayaking, sitting on your couch just staring out the window, whatever it may be. It needs to feel good to you, though. It needs to feel right. We are all unique, and it's important to remember that on our self-love journey as well, that every path looks different. Your path looks different than mine. We all have our own unique experiences throughout our life that shape who we are. So just keep that in mind as you discover who you are, or rediscover who you are. We're all unique, and you just need to take everything, kind of in stride and feel and find and work your way through what feels good to you. I hope you find that, and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.